Hi, friends, and welcome to episode 3 of Movies and Mayhem. Today, during catch up time, we're going to make an announcement and we'll also fill you in on what we've been working on. Then, Aaron will swoon us with another awesome tech talk. We'll be reviewing the movie Uncut Gems, and then we'll wrap it all up with trivia hosted by Chris.
Movies and Mayhem.
Fuck.
Ready. Announcement time. You guys ready?
Sure.
Yeah.
Who's going to make it?
I'll let you make that.
Oh, why me?
Because you're the one doing it.
Okay, so I feel like we've been beating around the bush and all this, and I think it's finally time, episode 3, I think it's right, to announce our film company's name.
Oh, I thought we were announcing something else. I'm sorry.
Are you like everyone else? Okay, because literally I've been anytime as a woman who's 30 years old now, anytime I say, Chris and I have an announcement to make, it people's mind immediately goes one track. And then, I know, seriously. I'm like, we can have other things going on in our life than hey, we got to tell you we're pregnant. Okay, that's not the point of today's announcement. This is a film company announcement. We're birthing the baby of our baby.
Nice. You brought it all together. That was good.
Oh, yeah, that's the writer in me. So, are we ready?
Wait, how long have we been working on our
name?
What year is it?
Our production company? It's been about 8 or 9 months now, right?
Well, I mean, since
Where do you want to start? I mean,
Yeah.
where does it technically start? I don't know.
wasn't it March of last year officially,
Oh, okay.
though?
I mean, it was going to be awesome if it was 9 months ago. That would have been a perfect wrap up to the.
Oh,
the
I see where
Oh.
you're going.
Yeah,
okay.
never mind. Keep going. Sorry.
This is our second name, though. I will warn, because when we had our other partner, we had Forehead, which is, I think, a great name. 4 people, Forehead. I thought it was great. So we had to come up with a new name, and we officially have it after horrible deliberation. Just kidding. Has anyone else had the pain of having to think of a name? It's the worst. You just stare at a blank page, and you're like, this name is going to define me the rest of my life. I mean, literally, it's like naming a child.
Names and logo design. I can never bring myself to being happy with anything. Artist names, yeah, whatever it is. It's just names are not my thing.
I mean, this could be attached to us until we die. We could die, and they talk about this at our funeral.
Well, we can always change the name, so
That's true.
that's some solace.
Just before we die.
That's true, I guess. I don't know. I just feel like I'm naming an actual life. I don't want the responsibility of naming a human. That's just too much.
No name.
No name. Exactly. All right. We ready? Drum
Yes.
roll. Da-da-da-da-da. Zero Fault Films.
Yay!
Okay. So I guess it's important that we start talking about how and why we came up with that name. Right?
Yeah, we probably should.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. We sound like we totally decided what we were talking about today before we started recording this.
Super prepared.
Come on, guys. Get it together. Okay, so Aaron was actually the one that came up with this. We essentially had a powwow. We each had to list 5 names that we came up with, and then we, during COVID time, got on the phone and started shouting them out at each other, and we landed on Zero Fault Films.
And we realized all the good names were taken.
That's true too. I mean, but come on, if you look at movie company names, I mean, A24, Paramount, Universal Studios, I kind of do like. I could do that, Universal.
There was a lot of ones that I was thinking of that, it's not necessarily super famous brands or whatever, or companies, but, there are some businesses in existence already. And it's just oh man, that would have been good.
Well, I mean, how did they come up with Bad Robot?
I don't know. It seems easier than it actually is for those kind of names. I feel like.
They probably hire somebody who's heavily into market research and has seen every name possible, and they're like, "Yeah, this will work for you."
It's either that or the complete polar opposite, where they're like, "We need a name," and it's just somebody throws it out, and it's one of those moments that just happen. They're like, "Okay, I'm done thinking about this," and then it actually turns into something cool.
We could have expedited this whole thing by having a night of heavy drinking. We probably would have come up with a name.
That high probability on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure we would have said something stupid, and then. But see,
But
there's
we would have
a
been so
downside.
drunk we wouldn't have
been
remembered.
remembered. Yeah, exactly.
So we have to record the whole thing every time
Right.
we get drunk. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go back to the point, which is how, Aaron, did you come up with this?
Honestly, I have no idea. I was frantically writing down names onto a list and then just making sure that none of them were taken as a company already in existence. And then I just sorted that list into ones that were okay to use and which ones weren't. And
Well, when they say to pick it, start your name with an A, so you're at the top of the list, you just did reverse for us.
yeah, I'm a rebel.
Rub with it, cuz we're in the back row, guys. Okay, so
Z's are cooler than A's.
well,
And I have 2 A's in my name, so
well, I mean, I'll be honest, like I really love like the logos we've been playing around with the Z and the F and stuff. So after we announced the name to each other, not here, we started the philosophical thought process of what this name could possibly mean for us. Because we can't just sit and be like, oh, this name means nothing. So we have Zero Fault. The zero means we're in the front lines. We're on the border of the battlefield, front lines. And it's also a fault line because being in Washington State, we have a fault line that runs through the state. And we are also doing it to represent shaking things up, being a very small film company with no connections in the industry, nothing to help us put a foot forward. And we want to shake up the industry. We want to shake up the style. We want to shake up them remaking the same movie 20 million times.
That is definitely very spot on.
So we're Zero
Yep.
Fault Films. Write that down, memorize it. We're going to take over the world.
And then at one of our forums, we'll ask you, why did we start the company with the name that we did? And if you get it right, I'll give you a high five. No, it's, well,
oh, you can't do those anymore.
yeah, you can't. I was about to say, you can't do those anymore.
Can't touch
But
people anymore.
I'll give you your air five,
There you go.
Not shoulder. Elbow
Elbow.
bump.
elbow bump.
We'll do air fist bump.
I still don't want people touching me.
I know. Is that ever going to change?
Now I have a reason. I just blame it on COVID.
Now we're all like germaphobes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
I can sleep easier at night.
I would shake your hand, but I'm sorry. COVID. I don't trust anyone anymore.
Everybody's a Howie Mandel now.
And now with a film company name that we can play around with, we can move on to step 2 of building our brand. Isn't that great, guys? Like now we have to build a brand.
Oh, and this is
Mhm.
and this is where we're going to announce what I thought we were going to announce.
That we're building a website.
Yeah.
Oh, how is that an announcement?
For some reason, I thought we had already told everyone that what our name was. I
No.
forgot that was today.
Aaron kept wanting to make it this big thing. I feel like we're kind of
What?
falling short for our audience.
You can't put this on me.
When we were like, oh, are we going to announce it in episode 2 or something? You're like, no.
You didn't want to, so I was like, okay, we won't. We'll
Okay.
keep it a secret.
And blame it on me. FYI, guys, they've
It's a
been
neutral
picking on me
decision.
today.
Oh, whatever.
They're
What?
picking on me so much.
What?
What a tattletale.
Chris, you have 5 more points in the doghouse right now.
No.
I'm sitting. Okay, so we came to Aaron's house because that's where we record. And I'm sitting in the car because he's taking forever to come let us into his building. And I'm sitting in the car reading a book, getting my work done. And he just comes and scares me.
Bangs on the window.
And Chris didn't warn me. Chris saw it all and did not warn me.
I was alerting you of my presence. That was all I was doing.
Not the cold chill down my back, huh?
That is your own responsibility.
I was having a lengthy philosophical debate in my head as to the repercussions of warning you versus not,
The
and
entertainment
the
value.
entertainment and joy versus the ethics. But by the time I came down to a conclusion, it was too late.
Well, I hope you've learned your lesson.
I have.
Are you going to warn me next time?
Yes, I thought the answer was always pull out, but yeah.
So I'm going to bring this back to the point of the conversation, which is we are
Pull out.
now. Wow. Okay. Speechless.
Website.
So we are now the next step we've been taking because we are so slow. What else is there for us to do but shoot the breeze on a podcast and sit around on our butts with ideas and know where place to go? So we're building a website.
And I love how what it looks like so far. So,
Which is nothing.
well, we have a template, right?
It is my job to build the website, and I was going to touch on it last week, and I did not.
True. But we have a template, and
We
I
do.
love the template. And Aaron has done the portraits and did all his magical black magic fixing up stuff, whatever the technical term is for it. and they look fantastic. So we've made some
They
pretty
do.
good progress. Now we have to sit down and write our bios.
So I will say I am shocked that Aaron approved of the template, though.
Why is that?
I don't know. I just expected you to be like,
I'm
it's
extremely
not good
picky.
enough. Yes.
It's called what's the word?
Picky.
Acquiescing.
Picky.
Compromise.
Oh, oh, what?
No, I thought it was good. It's the wireframe of it is good. The framing of it. Once we start filling it with content, I might have a different opinion of like. I'm more into the UX and like how people like what is the purpose of this, what's the purpose of that, and certain design aspects. But I think it has a solid start.
Well, if you guys, I think by the time this podcast is released, we will have the website live. So make sure you go to zerofaultfilms.com because when we release it, we're going to include our very first shooting around with our friends video. Pretty much we just got together one night like a year ago and we recorded a bunch of random scenes just playing around with lighting and stuff.
Completely unrehearsed.
Completely
Yeah.
unrehearsed. And Aaron went around and combined them all and we made a short little film. And I actually am in love with it. And so we're going to use it on the website.
That little clip when you put it together is what made me feel like this actually was a real possibility. Like we could turn this into reality because it was just the shots were fantastic for having no idea what we were going to do.
No
Just
lighting
going in.
test.
Yeah.
No direction. Like it really wasn't even directed. Nothing. Just
I kind of just edited it into a kind of somewhat of a story that would be enough to be like have somebody go along with it, I guess. I don't know.
it almost makes me want to go into horror thriller, psychological thrillers.
Yeah.
Can you handle that?
No, I'll scare myself. Because we were just talking about like Halloween movies and making a list. Because Chris and I like to do like our own 13 Nights of Halloween kind of thing. And also because we were talking about our next movies to review for the next 2 podcasts. Because they'll be in October. So we want to like surprise you guys with some like Halloween movies. We were making a list and yeah, Kate can't see like half of them. I don't do horror. So I will scare myself. The problem is my imagination explodes. My imagination takes it further beyond the screen. And I know I'm not the only one out there. I take it further beyond the screen than what they show. And so that's where I get messed up. Unless my mind is so twisted and dark that I would probably make an amazing scary movie and then scare myself making it.
I don't know. I would argue that actually making the movie would be less scary.
But you have to go into that dark recess of your mind to find out what scares you. And you have to go to that part of your mind I don't want to access.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like the initial part where when you're actually writing the story or whatnot, that would probably be scary, right? Because you got to make all that stuff up. But actually producing that, making the movie, designing the set and the costumes and special effects and all that stuff, I think that would be kind of more of a zen kind of moment where you're bringing it to life, and it because of that you're I don't know releasing it into the world, and you're not like it's not a scary thing.
Why do I feel like Aaron's trying to convince me to make a horror movie? Like, he's grinning, like because you cannot see this. He has this like little wicked grin on his face.
It would be
I'll
fun.
back him on that.
It'd be fun.
I would love a psychological thriller horror type movie.
We definitely need to get somebody that's like really good at makeup effects and stuff like that, because that would be so crucial for a horror film.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
believe that and
Definitely.
set deck. I mean, set design is so crucial too.
Oh, exactly. With the little short we're working on right now, there's might be a little bit of special effects makeup, and I'm trying to research that. Thank you, YouTube. And I'm not even sure if I can pull it off. We're gonna have a fun makeup day later. We're definitely have to talk about that in the future when we get to that point. So yeah, I'm just giving you guys a bunch of yummy spoilers so you'll keep listening. We gotta entice them. I mean, we're talking about website. How exciting! How many people have clicked away at this point because we're talking about websites?
I don't know. All my graphic designers out there and UX designers would be like, yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, because we're talking technical stuff.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true. Not really doing that.
So wow. My emceeing skills are great today. What I was saying is, so watch out for the next 2 episodes because they'll be released in October. We will be doing horror films. Well, the horror thriller films, which will be really exciting. Not that today's movie review is not anxiety ridden at all.
Hey, no spoilers.
No, I'm not. I already told him what movie we're reviewing. The only
that's
other
true.
thing I want to talk about real quick before you guys talk is how much you guys suck at taking portraits for like the bio page. I highly recommend you guys go check it out because Chris, it took a lot of pictures to even get that one.
I am incredibly good looking in person, but for some reason the pictures don't quite capture my beauty. I don't know what to say.
I will mirror that statement, not to you, but to me as well. Yeah,
No.
I'm not very photogenic, so
No,
See that I agree with Aaron. I think Aaron looks fantastic in person.
behind the camera,
But-
I agree.
Yeah, but as soon as it's like these little fairies that live in the camera that I'm pretty sure screw around with the pixels and move things around so we look distorted and look like we're not posing right. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
I'm sorry. Aaron killed it that day. I got him, so I had to take the pictures. Aaron is like our photographer in the group, but I had to take the pictures because clearly Aaron had to be in front of the camera, and I'm not too bad myself. And I got him laughing a few times, so I literally have made this montage of Aaron faces, and I just want to make these huge cutout posters of the Aaron faces that I just hold up for different reactions to things because they're just amazing.
She's memeing me.
I am memeing you because they're so good. But Aaron killed it. Actually, there were 5 pictures that could easily have been his profile picture. He was modeling it up. Sorry, Chris.
I'm not going to agree with any of this just because I'm very biased with it, but I appreciate that.
I'm laughing because I always think about when people say meme. My dad keeps saying Mimi.
Yeah, I had somebody I used to work with a while back that used to say memes, like do the nay but memes. Yeah, it is weird.
Dad, I know you're listening. It's called meme.
Or like when people, instead of saying GIF, they say GIF.
I will agree with them on that though.
What?
There's the actual facts.
That it's GIF?
Yeah.
Instead of GIF?
Yeah.
Yeah, but GI makes a G sound.
Yeah, but it's relegating it to what the original person that created that and their pronunciation for that.
But if you put an I, if I remember correctly, engineer here, but if you put like an I after a G, it makes the G sound, not the.
I'm not speaking grammatically. I'm speaking to the person that created it.
Oh.
So they might have spelt it wrong on purpose or whatnot, but they said that when they initially created it, that was the way it was going to be
GIF.
pronounced. Yeah. But everybody just does it. It's,
Well, because we're correct.
well, yeah.
We're
sure.
being grammatically correct.
There's 2 ways of being correct technically, so
I'm just sorry.
it's a moot point.
I can't call it GIF because then I think of like the peanut butter.
The peanut butter, yeah. I mean, who wouldn't?
I'm hungry. All right.
TikTok?
TikTok,
All right.
guys.
All right. This week's Tech Talk is two small tasks on set that can save you hours in post. That's my YouTube clickbait title for today's Tech Talk. The 2 small tasks, they aren't free by any means, but there's different varieties of stuff that you can pick up on pretty cheap, i.e. Either under $100 or around $100 for each one. But for all the people out there that will be recording their videos and editing and color grading, this will save you extremely a lot of time. And for the people that hire those services out, the people that you hire will thank you so much for making their lives a lot easier, and they can have that extra time that it would have taken to further perfect your project. Those 2 things, without further ado, are learning to use a light meter. Nowadays, newer cameras have zebras and false color and all these different measurement tools, even spot metering from the camera's sensor. They can all be helpful in their own ways, but having a light meter on hand with you and figuring out incident metering, which is when you have the light meter and you hold it up to the surface that you're measuring the light to fall onto. You will set the light meter to the ISO sensitivity of the camera that you're doing for that scene and the determined aperture. You can change this kind of triangle of numbers to say if you know that you want the aperture to be at a fixed thing for this shot, then that is a known. And when you do the measurement, then it'll tell you how much the ISO needs to be able to properly expose whatever you're measuring at 18% middle gray, which is what the light meter will do. So if you want to overexpose that or have a more of a punchiness to that, you'll need to have it at a higher number than middle gray, obviously. And utilizing the light meter, the bonus for that, it's kind of old school tech a little bit, but still relevant. You can pick up a little Luxley clip-on light dome. It's kind of like a diffused white dome over your camera on your cell phone and download the app. That's kind of like a $25 solution to this. It works well, but I used it personally and I liked it. I didn't really have anything too bad to say about it, but for me personally, I just don't like having my phone on set as much as possible. I'd rather have it in my pocket or in a bag or something like that. Just because the way it looks is just kind of I'm not a fan of it. So I oh go ahead.
Yeah, quick question on that. So, do you feel like the one that you put on your phone has less accuracy compared to the handheld one?
Right.
Okay.
So I feel like it's pretty accurate. I mean, especially for you get what you pay for kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if it's only $25, it's it's gonna do really really well for $25, obviously. And the different apps and the different solutions for the phone, because there's a few of them, they all kind of vary, but they're pretty solid for what you get for the
Okay,
price.
cool.
But I would say if you have $100-$200 to spend on a Sekonic L478DU, which is the model number, or something similar like that, that is also a Sekonic, I would highly recommend doing that just because one, you don't have to rely on your cell phone. It won't drain your battery, and all that. Plus, you can just keep it on yourself at all times. They have like a little lanyard, or you can put it in a bag that's next to you or whatnot. That way, you don't need a camera. You don't need a cell phone or anything. You have that on you, and it works with a couple of AA's or AAA's. Um, so it's really handy to have that, and it'll help you, especially when you're pre-lighting and maybe you don't have the camera yet. Maybe you're renting it, and it's going to come when you actually record. But you want to make sure that you're prepping as much as possible. It's nice to have that because that way you aren't so reliant on it. And then utilizing that in combination with, say, a color meter, or which is kind of another measurement tool that will measure the color accuracy of the lights that you're using and whether you need to shift it into magenta or green. And then also using that once you have the cameras and monitors set up, using false color and exposure tools that they have to offer to kind of figure out the lighting may be exposed properly, but is it balanced? And using the false color tool is really helps kind of be able to look at the scene as a whole and figure out the balance of light and shadows, and kind of just using all of those and your eye just looking at it. All of those combined will help better the result, and that way you aren't stuck in post trying to do power windows and boosting stuff and lowering stuff in post where it's really degrading the picture overall. So it's kind of a small task, but it can be however complicated
Hmm.
as you want it to be. But
Yeah.
learning that is just instrumental in just being able to get faster and faster at setting up stuff. The other task is to pick up a color checker, which is kind of another kind of card. Well, it's a card that has all of the colors.
The
And
rainbow board.
yeah, the rainbow board. Yeah, and it has different colors of black and gray and white on it, and it's really handy. You can just even stick it to the backside of your clapperboard you write down all the scene and the film information on. And as long as when you do the clicker and then just flip it over, have that. The key with the color checker is one, ideally if you're purchasing this stuff brand new, to make sure that the calibrated or calibration device that you get for calibrating your monitors when you're color correcting or doing any kind of color grading, matches the color checker. If you're just doing all this stuff on your own, if you're hiring it out, X-Rite is or Data Color. Those are the two. Get both or get one that your editor or color grader will use. That kind of helps make it that much more accurate. And the other part is to have it shown in the screen where the actors are actually gonna be, because colors drastically change the further away you get from there, and it makes it less accurate.
Do you want to see the actors in the shot when you're holding the color grade so that you can like skin tone or anything?
I mean, I think it really depends on the scene. So if the character in that scene is like going to be walking into this main point, I think the more crucial uh, location would be whether the character is there or the actor is there or not. Is just where the main part of that scene is going to occur and where that actor or actors are going to be. Because they'll obviously have the light and shaped and all that stuff in that particular area for the most part. Obviously, if you're doing a running gun and kind of doing a following scene where you're on a steady cam and going through some corridors and stuff like that, I mean, all bets are off at that point. You don't have much in the way of being able to set up a whole bunch of lights and without them being in the set, and everything's kind of be moving and a little bit more raw. But when you've got kind of the over the shoulders or kind of sit down whatnot, you have a little bit more control.
Well, those free camera scenes too, that lack of color or mistakes also add to the grunge feeling overall.
True, but I would argue it would be. Oh, you mean like in the
Yeah,
chase
so like
scenes
the
or
fact
stuff like
that
that?
in
For
this case,
sure,
like
yeah.
so if you can't do it, it also adds to like that grungy, very fast paced, raw, realistic feel
Yeah.
too.
I would say that you just want to make sure that, as with everything, you want to get the cleanest, crispest thing as possible, and then you could do stuff to it later. But it would really depend on the kind of style that you're going for sure.
I'll admit the rainbow board made me feel professional when we started whipping that thing out. I was like, oh, can I hold the board? Can I hold the board?
Yeah, that and the clapper. Even though we don't have a time code clapper board, those are super expensive. But
We'll get there. We have a clapper
yeah.
board. That's still so much more like legit.
But I think the way that I'm planning on going is getting a time code systems that connect to my sound bag and then connect into the camera, so that um, within the scratch audio, it's also recording a kind of a beeping message that is time code, so that all of it is in time with each other, and you sync it up based off of the little beeping pattern that gets recorded.
Well, just remember they did this without time codes for many,
Oh
many
yeah.
years. We'll be fine.
Well, it's all about making efficient decisions and solutions so that we don't take a whole bunch of time, and we can do more with less people. I think that's kind of that's my thought
I
on
feel
it.
like that's our key too. We're
Yeah.
such a small little unit.
Yeah. So any kind of gain that we can get by implementing a solution, it's just going to make everything go a little bit faster. We can take a little bit more time on things that require it, and everything runs a little
To
bit smoother.
clarify for our listeners here, unless some friends of ours take pity on us and offer to spend a 12-hour day lugging equipment or doing grunt work
Without getting paid.
without getting paid. Well, we give them food.
We
most
give them
of the
food.
time.
That's it.
And coffee.
Yeah.
And
That-
entertainment.
that's
I
it.
mean,
Craft service,
entertainment's
yeah.
enough, but
Well,
We are very entertaining, but craft services is very much lacking. The last time we had
Yeah.
people help out.
it's just the three of us.
yeah. Boom operators are definitely a must.
Yeah, and that's easy. No training required.
Well, I would argue that, but
Well, you get. I'm just saying, like, there's no
On the spot
like,
training.
you don't have to have all this training just to show up and help. Like, we will
I
take
can
anyone
teach.
almost.
So going back a little bit, so I know that when we were talking about the color chart, that you were saying that we need to that helps you with lighting, where to put the lights and stuff, right? So
The color charts helps with balancing out when
Color
you're-
accuracy.
Yeah.
color accuracy.
Yeah.
Okay. So does anything change if you use it outdoors versus indoors?
Well, wherever you're using it, there's always going to be a shift, and that's why you want to use that color checker,
Mhm.
regardless of if you're outside and it's overcast, or outside and it's sunset, or inside and it's dark, or inside that it's light. It's going to affect the way that it's lit and refracts light off of it and absorbs light. it changes. Obviously, the lighting qualities, but the main thing for the color checker is to make sure that when you're white balancing and all of these different tasks that you have to do on the camera side when you're recording it. Obviously, if you're shooting in log, you're trying to desaturate everything, and if you look at just a log, it's hard to tell color wise because there's no contrast really. That plus white balance and all those different little settings so that if you are, 200 Kelvin off, 500 Kelvin off, or something like that, that you can color correct to something that is true to life. These are the colors that are defined on that color checker. And depending on the nonlinear editor, the NLE that you use, whether it's Premiere Pro or DaVinci Resolve, I know DaVinci Resolve actually has a color checker portion in it that that you're able to pull out this grid and move it over the actual color checker on the scene that you recorded or the video file.
And correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm going to say something. The color board, the rainbow board, also helps you keep like a clear. Wow, I am forgetting words here, but like a clear overall color scheme for the whole thing too. Like it keeps everything balanced, so it's all matching. So
Yeah,
everything's
exactly.
perfect.
So
Okay.
the different scenes, it'll be like color accurate to that. And what that does is it kind of homogenizes in like all the scenes that it's just kind of making a neutral point where everything is color accurate, and then you can push colors around from there to get the feel and the style that you're going for on the movie and in those scenes.
So warning, our little clip on our website, we did not use a rainbow board. Just warning everyone out there. Rainbow board was not used in the creation of this production.
There's no homogeneous color grading done to that movie. It's all over the place, but it's
just 4 friends,
artistic, quote unquote.
just 4 friends, shooting the shit, just having fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I still love it. I still love the feeling, and I think Aaron did a great job with his little quick sound for it as well. So I'm very happy with that.
Definitely.
Wait, soundboard?
Well, music you created.
Oh,
Soundtrack,
my
a little
little
soundtrack.
piano.
Yeah, your little
thing.
piano
I
like
gotcha.
riff that you created for it. Thank you, Aaron. That was amazing insight. I think we learned a lot.
I definitely did.
It makes me enjoy my rainbow board even more. And now, next up, we're going to have our movie review of Uncut Gems.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Shh, movie review.
It's the movie you either love or you hate that has a controversy that no one I know could stop talking about. We're talking Uncut Gems today.
Was it really that divided?
Our chiropractor, who is a very vocal person, I love her to death, said that she walked out of the theater
Really?
watching this. Yes.
Huh. Interesting.
And I know another friend who won't see it. And all the reviews I've seen online are just how much anxiety inducing it was to them.
I would say that since I'm both a general audience, I'm not going to go too much until I get to my spot, but being both general audience, but then also being involved in movie production myself, I'm divided. I see both sides. So
I don't get the negative side. I can understand that it's anxiety inducing, but I think that's and I can't talk and anxiety inducing. But I feel like that's like the premise / the part of the quality of that movie.
I'll just add that, at least for me, and I do feel like this is a case for some people, it's very triggering.
Well, I mean, as far as I was concerned, it was a very stressful movie for me. Like I was incredibly stressed out, but I liked it because they succeeded in doing that, and they're masterful at doing that. The pacing, and the soundtrack, and like there's all of the qualities of the movie kind of add into that.
They successfully made an anxiety-ridden movie as high level of an extreme car chase type of fight scene type of thing
Without the action.
barely any action.
Yeah,
Without
exactly.
any action.
There's
they
a
pulled this off.
few high points that is like kind of classic throwbacks and homages to certain things, but for the most part, it's very kind of low key as far as like there's not helicopters with cars running into the helicopters and exploding and then guns going off and there's none of that.
Michael Bay.
Yeah.
You feel the life or death essence without the life or death
It was
essence.
straight hustle all the way through. There's so much hustle.
I don't know. I had to watch it through my fingers sometimes because I was just like, I'm gonna throw up. Like I can't. I can't handle this. Ugh. We'll start with tech though, because I have so many things I could say about writing and feelings and emotions. But we'll start with the tech.
Okay.
I hope you talk about the one thing I know you're going to talk about.
Okay. Yeah. So the DP on this, I'm hoping I'm getting his name correctly, but it was Darius Kanji.
That sounds right. I think they talked about him in a bunch of interviews.
Which he did Anima, which was awesome. It was kind of like a short for Radiohead, and that was excellent. I was also a fan of his. He was actually DP for Too Old to Die Young, which was a Nicholas Winding Refn director TV. It was kind of a mini series, but it was really supposed to be a movie, but he like turned it into a mini series. I kind of enjoyed that one, and he also did Seven back in the day with which was it's one of the great David Fincher films, which was just fantastic. And he's done a lot of music videos as well. So I feel like all of those that I've seen and music videos in general and stuff like that, kind of I saw the certain qualities in this, but at the same time, it feels like this movie he really went out on a branch and did something different, which I'm all for that.
Well, they built a stagnant set too, which played a big part in the cinematography.
They wanted to do everything on location, but just due to the logistics of that Diamond District and all the elevators and all that stuff, I couldn't even imagine trying to do that on location, because that's just moving equipment and moving people all around would just be crazy. But yeah, they, like you were saying, they built a soundstage out for that area.
They actually built the stage they built was stagnant. Like there was no moving parts that allowed for him to like set up lighting where they wanted, like anything. Like they had to work around a static location. Like there was nothing to like make room for extra like equipment to film.
Oh, and I like that they just like threw in a whole bunch of stuff. It was just like absurdity to the absurd level kind of thing.
The Furby. This is
Well, not, I mean, just like set deck wise, like the lights, there's like multiple lights and they're all different colors and it's just chaotic, and it just further cements the anxiety. And I mean, I'll get into that kind of stuff a little bit later after the technicals, I guess. But the shots that Darius did, he used, I swear we're on this anamorphic Panavision kick, because the last movie, Bad Times at El Royale, was also shot on Panavision CNE series lenses, and this was the same. I can't remember what Kodak stock that one was filmed at. I think it was like 5207 or something like that. This one's Vision 3 Kodak 5219 with 500 ASA tungsten negative. And this was on Aricam STs and LTs, and some of it was on Alexa Minis, which is awesome. But all of it was really, really long lenses most of the time, which kind of gave that separation and the shallow depth of field very, very enclosing and encapsulating into his world, which kind of was awesome to not only have that in the story, but also kind of reinforced through the technical cinematography aspect of it as well. Yeah, so many great shots. I really liked when they shot through kind of the crowd of people in the foreground and kind of further framing him within a frame and isolating it with those long lenses. What did you guys think about the long lens kind of shots?
Well, to quickly add to the shot about shooting into the crowd, Kate's another drop of trivia information. They actually had in the New York street shots, it was literally an open set. They did not shut down because sometimes they couldn't. They did not shut down the set at all. So a lot of the people on there
the quote
are
unquote extras or whatever,
walking
or actually,
around,
yeah,
like actually just normal people walking around to work or whatever. There's a few extras. They said that they specific people they got were extras, and they said at one point too they were shooting when he walks out with, I forget the guy's name, right after the auction, and he's walking out with him. They said in one shot a guy walked across their set carrying a pair of ball cutters right across the foreground. They're just like, oh, okay. I don't think I could even have planned that well myself.
that's amazing.
So yeah, again, like those type of shots, a lot of those people are literally walking to work and nothing special.
Yeah, I think it added to the visceral raw quality to it.
Mhm.
And didn't they get like people that actually worked in the Diamond District to go onto the set. It was either their built set to further enforce the realness of the built set, or
A
they got
lot,
them in on location shots.
both. A lot of the
Yeah.
people are actually, yes, the Diamond District. There was the one gentleman who worked for him who left. They got from the Diamond District. The two brothers that he sold the ring to were from the Diamond District. The one hitman with the white hair. I'm really great with these names, guys. That kept coming after him. He is from, I believe he was also from the Diamond District. Yeah, a large cast, very large cast came directly from, which added to this realistic feeling overall to the set.
Yeah, it
Honestly.
had a realness to it for sure.
And that was their goal. That's what they really wanted.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to give props to the person that was first AC or focus pulling, because that's some insane work, especially on some of those longer lens shots that are probably
And a lot of them,
150 mil or
handheld,
more.
like when he was walking and like doing like the
Yeah, the
running and
following shots, and yeah.
stuff. It was very well done.
There's a lot of, I felt that there was a lot of good mixture of kind of wider shots, but still on long lenses to get it kind of separate the main characters or whatnot. But you had a good combination of kind of the set around, or the city being kind of a character, and also kind of just enclosed, very claustrophobic kind of frames as well. I really enjoyed that.
Now, can we talk about the thing I want you to talk about?
Yes, the soundtrack. Is it the soundtrack?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
Like,
score
come on.
was by Daniel Lopatin. I hope I got that correct.
He
Sorry
doesn't
if
do movies. Surprisingly, like this is like only his second movie.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was very different, but also familiar at the same time. It was kind of bizarre. It definitely had that late 70s, early 80s kind of vibe to it a little bit.
Did you know that they use new age music making devices? I don't know what else to call them, like sound bowls,
it's a
meditation.
Yeah, it's a genre, new age music, and I believe that's his kind of forte. He usually does new age music. I believe. I'm not sure.
But isn't that crazy that he took this meditation calming music to turn it in, flip it on its head and make it so anxiety inducing?
Yeah, I do like the juxtaposition of that and how well it worked. Yeah, just that in comparison to, I feel like there was a lot of I know he was saying that there was a lot of influences from prog rock and late 70s prog stuff, but I feel like there was also a little bit of kind of musicality that is synonymous with oh my gosh, I can't believe I am forgetting this man's name. Clockwork Orange. Oh my gosh.
Clockwork Orange composer.
No, the director.
Oh,
Stanley Kubrick.
Oh, I can't believe you forgot that.
I know. But it had kind of a similarity to Clockwork Orange kind of music in this film a little bit, with the classical references, but used with like synths and stuff like that. I really enjoyed the journey that it was taking, and it worked surprisingly well for this type of movie.
Yeah, it somehow they pulled it off. Like every piece of this movie, if one piece did not perfectly line up,
Especially Adam
Sandler.
Sandler.
Yeah,
I couldn't imagine anybody else playing that role and having the same
the only
feeling
reason
for that character.
the only reason he came on was because of Good Time. That was when he finally, because they've been trying for a while. So
Oh yeah.
they've been trying to make this movie for 10-ish years, and yeah.
Going to the Adam Sandler thing, it's kind of funny. I read a review that from a general audience, who said, "Oh, Adam Sandler, I'm used to his movies where like at any moment it's gonna turn around and it's gonna end like every other Adam Sandler movie." And
This one doesn't.
It definitely doesn't.
No.
No.
There's no moment of like, oh yay, happiness.
Well, there is.
Well, even when he thinks like, oh,
All right,
I'm gonna get
so-
back together with my wife and stop being a douchebag, it doesn't happen that way.
I think everybody knows by now that if you're listening to the review,
Okay,
there's going to be
spoilers,
spoilers. So hopefully you know that by now. But if not, there's going to be spoilers.
Yeah.
But that's how
before
every
we
movie review is always going to be
Yeah.
with us, because we're going to go in depth for everything.
Before we go into the spoilers, though, I will say the opening, the intro and the outro kind of had this cool bookend thing.
Mhm.
It was very because they were talking about the gem being the whole universe inside the gem, and it starts with the journey from the gem into this person and his life, and then exits out of the gem like it's kind of like a snapshot in time in the universe that is held within the gem. Kind of has like this whoa dude kind of
We all have a
moment there.
universe inside of us. It was the point.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
And there was no like, oh, here's your star of the movie moment. We literally are introduced to him when he's getting a colonoscopy.
And the text and how that's introduced, like when the actual scene is presented where you're in a doctor's office or whatever. For me, for whatever reason, with the note, the lasting note that kind of sounds off, and as it like pans out or dollies back, it had kind of like a 90s ER intro in a good way, not in a bad way at all, but it just kind of like that was the first thing that like immediately went to my mind.
I mean, who else thought with the title that it looked like N64, like Nintendo?
Oh yeah, kind of. Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. I honestly was like, this could have been an 80s movie for a hot second.
Yeah, it had a kind of a late 70s, early 80s kind of thing, but even though it was supposed to be in 2012 when this
Yes.
was like the actual time.
Well, actually, until the version that they made, it was supposed to be a contemporary movie.
Oh yeah.
The only
crazy.
reason they had to push it back to 2012 is actually because of
The NBA actor.
the NBA actor in the show. He's actually, I think, don't quote me, guys. I want to say the 4th NBA actor they finally settled on.
Yeah.
Because the person they were supposed to have, who was actually in the NBA, when they got the shooting schedule, it was when the NBA was playing, so he could no longer be a part of it.
And then I think they were trying to get Kobe.
Yeah, but the problem with Kobe is because he was on the West Coast, they're like, this doesn't
Yeah.
work with why would he be in the Diamond District?
Yeah.
And so they eventually settled on, wow,
Kevin Garnett.
thank you. I do not watch basketball. They settled on Kevin Garnett, and they really liked him because he was an actor on playing football, essentially. Football, wow, basketball. Told you,
He did really good on this, and also for people. Speaking of people that don't really act all that much, Julia Fox's performance in this was her debut performance. She
She's
got
a
on a Gotham
socialite.
Award. What?
She's a socialite.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, this is not her
This
thing.
was she hit it out of the park. It was amazing. She did really, really well in this, and Adam Sandler's accent was. I really enjoyed his character and how he played it in this too. I feel like this is like one of the better Sandler films for sure.
They did a massive amount of screen tests. They would write like 4-page scenes for them to act out and play with the characters, down to the point that they went to like a department store and acted out in there. And they also did like a karaoke scene together, just acting it out to like really build that chemistry
Between Julia Fox and Sandler.
and Sandler.
Oh wow.
And to make sure that like she was the one to play, because they always wanted Sandler. That was their plan all along. That's why it never got made,
Yeah.
because they were like Sandler, and he was just like, no, I don't know, who are you guys? But then Good Time came out, and then he was saying,
like, okay.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
I'll join in. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, he was definitely crucial because if it was somebody else,
It's crazy though. Like, who do
You
you
wouldn't-
think? Oh, I want Sandler to play this part. Like, that's not the person that comes to my mind when I think of Howard.
no, definitely not. But the fact of like the character and how much you kind of despise him, but also are rooting for him at the same time, just that is the reason why Sandler is so perfect for this. Because any other person, you wouldn't want to root for him whatsoever. You know what I mean?
Well, thank you, Aaron, for segueing us into our plot and screenplay portion of the movie.
No problem.
Yeah, so pretty much that I have to give them props, because here is a man essentially on his own version of the hero's journey who we are supposed to despise. This is a man who thrives on gambling. This is a man who does not only just gamble with gambling in the literal form, but everything.
Well,
As
and
everything in his life's a gamble.
nothing is enough. He's always needing to have that extra little bit because he's on a mission. Whether he knows what mission it is or not, he's on a mission all the time.
He wants to gamble everything. He's gambling with his relationship with his wife. He's gambling with his clients' merchandise, as you'll see in the movie. He everything. He
There's no
just loves
control.
that-
Everything is just out of control.
Like
Yeah.
almost every scene, he's gambling in some way or another.
I know,
Every
yeah.
scene.
And you watch that, and
It's unhinged, basically, just 24/7.
yet with all of that, and with how much you would think you want to hate him, you can't. You are rooting for him. Like,
He's so hopeful.
you don't want. Well, it's not even the hope, but it's just you don't want him to like fail in this goal and this plan that he's trying to reach.
Yeah.
Because I feel like any other person who's like this gambling, who needs help and is just throwing his money away, and you tend to hate him. Like you didn't feel that way with it, which is one of the reasons that was also anxiety producing, because it's just you couldn't look away.
And the fact that like maybe he forgot to do the task that he was gonna do, and like you're thinking, oh no, you forgot to do it, and he's just like passing out for the night, and he's like, man, that's gonna screw you over this next scene.
I have to give the Safdie brothers like a round of applause. Like the fact that you can pull that off as such an unlikable character to the point that you still care what happens to him. Not that you care about him, but you care what happens to him.
there's a
It's
there's a
shocking.
there's a confliction, internal confliction with yourself as you're watching this for the main character for sure.
I mean, even to the point of the ending where you're just like, oh, well, I didn't want that to happen.
Yeah, that and I think just the unhinged nature and the build and the pacing for this. Um, there's just tons of instances of little nuanced things in along the way. Uh, for instance, the weekend show where the weekend the artist is playing and the black light isn't on. There's just like little things that are going awry that aren't planned that not only add to the tension building and the pacing of the story, but also uh, add to the raw reality of life in general. Like nothing is like absolutely perfect going without any issues. There's always like something going wrong here and there, and it just keeps on building, and it has that really good combination for that.
That plays into really good writing. Like the fact that you can take and put in these humanistic moments to make it realistic to the point that you can feel the anxiety, because people are literally like this, where it's anxiety inducing and get upset about a tiny thing. Like that lends itself to really being able to pay attention to people and being able to write realistic storylines. And that is amazing. I mean, I would hope that that would be the case, since they literally rewrote the script 160 times. They
Oh,
they they
really?
like to
Wow.
tout that themselves. It took 160 drafts. Sometimes it was also due to the fact that things kept changing on them, the NBA players, because to
Right.
them, when they wanted the NBA players to come in, they needed the theme and the overall point of the story about the gem and why they would want this gem to fit around real life games and within the player's own like life.
Yeah.
And
Some semblance of accuracy.
yeah, so when those kept changing, they did have to rewrite it to go with the theme of the person that was playing. And so that took some, but it also took 160 drafts of just making it as good. I mean, they had 10 years. So I think that if it wasn't as good as it was after 10 years of work, I would be disappointed because they had so much time. And it is interesting because their dad did work in the Diamond District, which is one of the reasons that they, got this idea in their heads. And it was always a contemporary film until they got Kevin Garnett, because then they had to do it when he was playing the East Coast Conference, and they had those games because it was actually perfect, because he had the really good game, the really bad game, the really good game again, and that played out perfectly for them, and it played it perfectly to the idea of, like, why he would want the gem and how they're all uncut gems, because, that's the whole point of the story. Howard is an uncut gem in it all. But that's the true essence of great storytelling. I'm really excited to see what else they come out with. And not saying it's perfect though. Like there are issues with the story if you think about it in a script writing point of view. Some of the things they showed on screen contradicted what they were trying to say. So they would say one thing, but then contradict it with what was shown on screen. Because here was a man who clearly had money. That's not hidden. Like he lives in a lavish house. He comes from a Jewish family. So he's probably had some money handed to him a little bit. His wife is well off. Like they drive Mercedes or fancy cars. Yet here's a man that has to go to loan sharks for money and is doing this gambling in a way, and
Pawning jewelry.
pawning
And
jewelry. And the other thing that really contradicted things for me, which really struggled, and might be the whole point, because they're trying to build up this anxiety, but he was a very likable man. He walked around the Diamond District. People said hi to him. He was known everywhere. He had these rapport with these people, and he seemed to have a very lucrative business, which again does not play well. Like, why are you needing to loan out money? So that is the only thing that concerns me, because while I'm trying to figure this out and piece together who this Howard is, I'm getting lost from the plot of the story.
well, I think as far as his business was, it wasn't necessarily super lucrative. I think the Furbies being a little bit outdated and uh who really bought anything in his office while the movie was going.
Well,
I feel like there's some issue. It was doing okay, but he wanted to do better.
if you look at the wall though, and the amount of people that came in there, like celebrities and bought stuff, that would contradict that.
Oh, okay.
So I just wonder because it does make it seem like was he better before, and then he just fell on hard times and stuff. And then we have the ending, which is okay. So the first time you're watching, it's not very obvious it's going to happen, but it's actually hinted at dinner. He actually predicts it himself at dinner. Are we going to spoil it? Can I just say what happened?
Yeah,
Spoilers. Run
Yeah.
away now. He predicted his own death because he says the firstborn son can die still. That can still
Gotcha.
happen. That's the foreshadowing of the ending.
There was also foreshadowing with the door not working. Now it worked for that previous
Well, I
scene,
mean-
but it also like kind of foreshadowed the whole like
Well, it's not foreshadowing in the sense of like that he was going to die. It's just a foreshadowing that the door's going to break later.
that's going to be it's going to be a thing that is going to be used later.
Yeah. But it doesn't foreshadow the fact that he actually gets shot.
No.
But
But that was kind of oh man, the emotions that were wrapped up in that moment that happened. It was, stress for however long that buildup was until that moment, then pure
pops.
euphoria, and then just like that, it's gone, and you're just left mouth agape and speechless.
So when I was watching with Chris right before he was shot, I'm like, is he going to get shot here? And guess what happened? I was like, oh, well, I called that.
Oh,
I
no.
saw that.
Yep.
But I mean, it is interesting though. I do really like the message that he says at the one point, which is just, no matter how much you have, you still want more. And, with Kevin Garnett, it was like, well, just because you have a 20-point lead in a game doesn't mean you don't want more lead. Well, this is my version of basketball. This is my lead. I want more.
Yeah.
And it's a very interesting thing to look at too, and to think about how much is enough.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that nothing is never enough.
Well,
You're always wanting more,
let's get the general audience view.
Well, wait. I wanted to say something else. There was first of all, the sound design when he got thrown into the fountain and it was like a turning point. I thought that cue was really, really great. And then kind of the breakdown scene where like everything is just going wrong and he's pretty much just lost it at this point. He doesn't have any plans. He's all out of it, and it's just like, holy crap. The fact where this is such a low moment. And then she turns around and there's a tattoo that she got his name on her. It was just the perfect comedic relief, and just that whole scene was like really well put together. That's all I had to say.
These brothers know people. Like the way that they can just make it very genuine is well done and worth a study.
So, from the general audience standpoint, like we said, this movie is a little divisive. So, I wasn't so keen on it compared to both of you.
Can I add something to that real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think why it's so divided is that general audience people do not see. No, I'm not saying you don't. I'm just saying
No,
like,
yeah.
general audience people
I agree with you.
cannot see the technical skill that
Mhm.
went into making this movie. Because I mean, let alone the fact that like how much anxiety was built into it that you felt like that is a technique. And I think what happens is they get so lost in what they saw and experienced that they can't look beyond that to see like the true
How they accomplished it.
what they did, how realistic they make the character. They can't look past that wall that put in them. And I think that that's a big problem with the movie and why it didn't do so well, but why it is like going and just sweeping all these lists and sweeping the technical field is because we're just like, oh, that was magic.
If it was paced any different, if there was like a lull or something like that, it wouldn't have had the same emotional reaction for everybody out there.
Yeah, exactly. No,
So there's definitely some awesomeness there.
I definitely agree that that's why I said at the beginning, from a producer movie perspective, it was great, but from a general audience perspective, not so much so. And so one of the things, which you'll laugh at me, Aaron, is the soundtrack. So the soundtrack was, and I know this wasn't the intent, but it was super annoying and distracting and frustrating to listen to the whole time you're there. And I know a lot of people go and watch movies to get involved in the movie, but they don't necessarily go to get annoyed and frustrated and agitated. And that's what the soundtrack was doing, which was the point, but it was annoying, especially at such a beginning. At the very beginning of the movie, it was so overwhelming. And then we transitioned into having Kevin Garnett and all the people there in the shop. And all the people who were with Kevin Garnett were just talking over each other that you literally could not hear the conversations
Yeah.
being had.
I think that added to it. That was another bravo to the sound mixer and the people that are recording that, because just them overlapping and being able to capture that like visceral kind of emotion, like everybody's trying to get their voice heard kind of thing, was just phenomenal. It was absolutely insane. But yeah, it's very,
But
very
from a
high
general
stressful.
audience
Yeah.
perspective, it's so frustrating
Yeah.
and stressful.
So
And
you're trying to follow everybody's conversation. I will say
Yeah.
that I going into this, I kind of had a feeling that the soundtrack was going to be not everybody's cup of tea for sure.
Right,
Well,
exactly.
the composer as well who made the soundtrack actually made a soundtrack around the sound editing. Like he was like, "Well, where's that talking point? Where's that beep that I hear?" Because he built that into
The sound.
the soundtrack.
Yeah.
And then the other thing too is, so from the perspective of the characters, about 45 minutes to an hour in, I still actually didn't care what happened to anyone.
Mm.
The main character was to me so unlikable that I literally didn't care, and it didn't change at all through the whole movie. Near the end, I was like, okay, well, let's see what happens, because I'm just curious to see how they're going to end this. But I don't necessarily care what happens. So when he got killed, shot in the face,
You're like,
I was like,
well,
oh,
that's that.
cool. All right. So that's how they're going to end it.
Moving
Now,
on.
I will say,
Did you still feel the emotions though? Even though like
Ye-
you didn't care, were you still anxiety ridden and like, oh my god?
So I would say yes to an extent of, oh man, what's gonna happen next? Like, where is this gonna lead to? That kind of anxiety, yes. But did I have anxiety of like, oh, is he? I hope Kevin Garnett pulls it off because then he's gonna win. I didn't have that. Like, I actually didn't care whether or not Kevin Garnett pulled it off and he won the bet. That part I didn't care about. But in terms of the anxiety of like what's gonna happen next, and that's where they did such a good job, is that I did feel the anxiety that they were intending for me to have. So definitely felt that.
Which note to self,
And
be prepared to pause this halfway through. I think it's really good to pause this movie halfway through for a general
a
audience.
little breather.
Because I think you kind of need a breather just a tiny
Yeah.
bit.
Absolutely not. I feel like that's a total detractor from the
I
movie.
said general audience. We took a bathroom break halfway through. It was great. It was perfect.
So so one of the things that I did really appreciate for the film is that the ending I felt was realistic. It's how you would expect something to end.
You don't always get the happy ending.
Yes, and I really, really appreciated the ending. That was a saving grace for the film for me, was the ending.
What's the girlfriend gonna do with all the money now?
Yeah, and there's a lot of unanswered questions.
It
which
kind of
I
tied
actually
up enough,
appreciated
but
that.
didn't tie up everything. Yeah, I like that.
Exactly. Like it ended how I would anticipate it to end in real life, and there were open questions of like, what happens next? We don't know, and that's okay. And I really appreciated that.
Again, they are magic makers with the writing.
Yeah.
I'm really curious. Like, I want to watch Good Time now. I'm really curious what they're gonna do next. I'm impressed.
Yeah, I would say as me personally, I'm excited to see what else they have and to watch more.
They're
Because
young too, so there's a lot of room here for growth.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd be happy if I can write a movie that
They-
well done.
They know how to play with emotions, and they know how to use all your different senses to play to your emotions. Other than smell, obviously, you can't do smell in a movie.
Ooh,
But
I forgot one thing to mention. Sorry.
well, you could. But
One thing I forgot to mention that blew my mind, especially going into directing. There was no playback when they filmed this movie. None whatsoever. There was no video village. They just shot and they called it a day.
Yeah, for the most part, it was shot in film, so the playback setups for film is kind of more of an annoyance than anything else, for sure.
Blows my mind though. That they could do that without knowing if they got the shot.
Well, okay, so for your instance, since they aren't acting in it, they can actually see the thing unfold,
Still.
and they'll know when they get it or not.
Still, how do you know if it's like framed? I don't know. I guess they really had to trust the cinematographer. They had a really good relationship with the cinematographer to know that he caught it.
They did, because they worked on a previous music video, I think, and
Yeah.
it turned out really well.
It's just
and-
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, let's go around ratings. We'll start with Chris. What are you gonna give it?
I would give it a 4.5 out
Wait,
of 10.
wait, I thought 4.5. Okay.
He didn't like it.
Damn.
Aaron?
I would say it was an 8 for me.
I'm actually really hard because I still am on the fence about how I feel about this movie. Because as a general audience, I'm like with Chris as a general audience. Like as a general audience, I didn't like it, but as like the technical side of things, I think it was amazing. So I don't know. I'm kind of like a 6.8 maybe. I don't know. I still haven't like solidified my answer. I say that if you are in film and technically you need to watch this movie, if you're a general audience, it's free on Netflix. Why not give it a try?
Yeah. If you like weird synthy out there kind of scores, I would highly recommend it. And also, if you're an Adam Sandler fan, this is probably one of his top movies that he's in
agree.
my opinion. So
I highly agree. Again, it's free on Netflix at the moment that this is coming out. Alrighty. So we'll finish up with our final segment. I'm so scared, but we're going to do trivia now.
This isn't a trivia. This is a stick-up, see? Give me all your gin and chocolate.
All right, welcome to Trivia with your favorite and best and most handsomest host ever, me, Chris, which you should know my name by now.
Sure.
And so for those who do not know, we have my two co-stars team up against each other, these brilliant intellectuals. And what they're fighting for is they have to buy each other something different. So Kate, if she wins, Aaron will have to buy her chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
And if Aaron wins, Kate will have to buy him gin.
Yes.
So what we'll do is we'll have 3 questions and tiebreakers if they're needed. And before we get into it, what we are discussing today is name that vessel.
Okay, and I already have an issue with this because if you look up the Webster Dictionary term for vessel, it means a boat. And Chris says it's not just boats. No, I'm not okay with this.
Well,
is it just a boat or is it something that holds something else?
I mean, yes, too, but you cannot use the body analogy used earlier. Aha, stole your line.
No, I firmly agree that a starship that is holding people counts as a vessel.
Are you saying it's because it's called a space ship?
Well, it goes through a different substrate, but it doesn't say that a vessel has to go through water.
Yeah, it's a ship.
Oh my goodness.
Plus, I would say that a bodily vessel is a vessel.
Oh my goodness.
You're holding your constant.
If you
we're not
shrink
naming
yourself
human beings, are
small
we?
enough to fit inside of a craft that goes through a blood vessel,
Hold on.
Yeah, everything is a vessel of
then it's a
everything else.
vessel running through a vessel.
They do call us the human vessel, but you're not doing you're not pulling that crap here, right? Like,
everything
you're not
is-
I'm starting to name people because it's a human vessel, right?
Oh yeah, don't do that.
Hey.
So you mean that I can't call our Mother Earth a vessel that
Oh.
runs through the substrates of
Do not be that person.
vacuum?
Do not be that person. Okay.
We got to reel in the trivia questions a little bit.
All right.
Okay.
I'm gonna go
So
shun
we're
myself. I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
give Aaron and I our private time. Go away.
And when I mean I'm going to the bathroom, it means I'm gonna go put on my noise
We-
canceling headphones and go to the bathroom because it's the furthest point in the apartment that I can get away without hearing the answers. All right, I'll be back.
All right, Aaron. It's just you and me.
Naming vessels.
All right. So it goes easy, medium, then hard. All right. And
All
try
right.
not to make me go into the tiebreakers because I'm pretty sure you both won't get the tiebreakers and we will be stuck with the perpetual tie.
Oh man,
I had to come up with 3 different tiebreakers. And
You came prepared.
Oh, I hope we don't go that route. But anyway, I also love unexpected excitement. And so I kind of hope you do. But let's go ahead and go with this.
All right.
All right. So this vessel is commanded by Captain Jack Sparrow. You get 3 tries.
Oh my gosh, I should know this, but I have no idea what that ship is called.
Wah, wah, wah. You get 3 tries.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank. I'll take the L.
You'll take the L? All
Yeah.
right.
What was it? What
Dun,
was it?
dun, dun,
Oh
dun,
yeah,
dun.
we gotta wait.
Yeah. So next question and so I'm going to say beforehand, I'll accept 4 different answers because it's somewhat of a controversial question. And I didn't realize that until like minutes before we started the podcast.
Okay.
And I realized that before I get hate mail from everybody who's listening, that there's 4 different answers. So I'll take any of the 4.
Okay, so
right.
they're all correct. Gotcha.
Yeah. April 11th in 1970, Captain Jim Lovell, played by Tom Hanks, runs into critical issues.
What are these trivia questions? I have no idea. I'll I'll skip that one too. Holy crap!
I'll give you a hint, and then I'll give Kate a hint if she can't get it either. So it involves a rocket launch.
Well, I know it's Apollo 13 or
There you go.
Apollo 11. Is it Apollo 11?
It was. I'll give it to you. It was the first one. So
Yeah, Apollo
the
13.
mission name is Apollo 13. I'll accept the mission name of Apollo 13.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
what the ship was called. It was.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it's the Voyager or there's a couple other ones. Challenger, but that one blew up. Yeah, I'm not sure. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you're close enough. All right. So 1 point so far. So last question. Captain Quint Martin Brody and Matt Hooper venture into the ocean on this ship to hunt down a dangerous great white.
Oh my gosh. A Jaws reference. Another Jaws reference. That I will not
Another
get.
one.
Yeah.
I wonder if I can pull it off every week.
I am drawing a blank on that one. I won't be able to get that.
All right, taking the L on that one.
Yeah, apparently I need to watch Jaws because I don't remember any part of it.
That's all right. All right. So can't tell you the answers yet,
Yeah,
but we will
get Kate.
go get Kate.
All right,
I'm back.
All right. Welcome back, gorgeous.
All right. Oh, I'm so scared.
you better be. I got all of them right.
No, you didn't. I can just tell. Such a liar, Aaron. All right.
All right. You ready? You ready?
Okay. Let's see how much
Okay.
of an idiot I look like.
Don't worry, I look like way worse of an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're gonna hate
yeah,
yourself.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to start from easiest,
Oh,
then medium,
God.
then hard.
Okay.
Okay. All right. This vessel is commanded by Captain Jack Sparrow.
Wait, he commanded multiple boats. Are you talking about the one he's trying to get? Black Pearl.
There you go.
Okay. Because
That
I'm
one.
like, there's the little dinghy at the beginning. There's
Oh,
the one
come
he
on.
commandeers, and then the one
He's
he's
known
going
for
back.
the Black Pearl.
Okay. See, I knew that's not the one I knew you were gonna ask, but I knew you were gonna ask that one.
Okay.
Collusion.
You didn't get the Black Pearl?
No, I didn't.
How did you not get the Black Pearl?
Apparently, Pirates of the Caribbean isn't very memorable movie
Wow.
for me.
Wow.
So-
you are. Shame on you.
How is that shame?
Okay. Go.
After 10 years of knowing me, you will eventually be able to be also part of my conspiracy and collusion.
Oh,
All right.
okay.
Okay.
Okay. So
All right.
I clearly got one. Okay.
You got one. So
Uh-huh.
so the next one, it's a little bit controversial, so I'll accept 4 different answers.
We still get 3 guesses, right?
You get 3
Okay.
guesses, but I'll accept any of the 4.
Okay.
All right. April 11th, 1970. Captain Jim Lavelle, played by Tom Hanks, runs into critical issues.
Essex?
No.
Oh, Apollo 11.
Close.
Hey, no
No,
hints.
it
that's
is Apollo
wrong.
11. No, that's what they called it. Oh, Apollo 13. Sorry.
Okay. Sorry, Aaron.
Wow, I can't believe I said Apollo 11. That is me jumping the gun.
Let's set some ground rules here. So if she gets Apollo 11, do I say close or do I say wrong? And then we have to keep
Wrong.
moving on.
Wrong's fine. You can say
Oh.
wrong.
My bad, Aaron.
Well, if you gave him the same clue, you can do whatever you did with him with me. And I thought we did say we we can have one clue in in any of our questions. We have one clue option. I guess.
See, they're just changing the rules of the game, and it's like they've had backdoor talks, and they're like, "All right, we're gonna do this."
All
and
right,
we're
all
gonna
right.
do that."
I'm gonna write.
Clearly, I've won.
I'm gonna write a 20 page.
I mean, apparently.
That's history, man.
I'm gonna write
I
a
got that
20
right.
page
Oh,
book
you
of
did? Okay.
rules.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Last question.
Uh-huh.
Captain Quint, Martin Brody, and Matt Hooper venture into the ocean on this ship to hunt down a dangerous great white.
Orca? They won the orca.
Yeah, you got it right.
I know. It's Jaws.
I didn't expect either of you to get that one.
I did Google search that one yesterday.
Aaron's shaking his head.
See,
Collusion.
I
I tell you,
will-
collusion.
I will have an aside conversation there. Is I've done absolutely no research, so
I
my
will,
score does not reflect the person that's cheating.
I will promise you, if you did not say they went hunting for a great white, I would have not have known their names, and I would have been like, what movie are you talking about?
Yeah, I totally knew what movie he was talking about. I was like, crap, I don't remember anything from this movie besides it's Jaws, and there's Steven Spielberg, and he did a good job, and it was or the
The-
vertigo shot or whatever.
The name is
yeah.
funny because it's the only predator of the shark. So that's why they call it the orca. I mean, that's why they thought of it.
I didn't know
Mm,
that.
yeah.
Huh. Cool.
Well, I
That
can
makes
promise you did not ask the one question I thought you were going to ask.
Oh,
and
yeah.
ask prep for.
So what did you think I was gonna ask?
The ship name in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, that would have been a good one, but
It's
I think that made it.
Milano, if you were wondering, after Alyssa Milano.
Oh, interesting.
Really?
Okay.
Yes, I Googled it.
Why would they name the ship
I
after Alyssa?
Don't
Milano?
remember. It's something the writers did. I don't know. But yeah, so. Did we get
I
wait,
wonder what the name of the ship was in the comic book.
I don't know, but we're having too much fun. Can we do the tiebreaker?
Yeah. So I was interested to see. So the tiebreaker is a little bit different. I'm gonna name the movie, and then you name what the name of the
Okay.
main vessel is. So first one was The Goonies.
Inferno.
All right. So Kate won that one. 2000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Oh, I don't know that one.
I should know that one. Yeah, I don't know.
I also thought you were going to ask what ship name from Peter Pan. It's the Sea Devil.
Oh, okay. Good to know. I didn't know that one
I didn't
either.
know that one. I didn't know that one.
I tried picking ones that were a little bit more well known, but at the same time not.
Well, I thought that was going to be your
Oh.
extra hard one.
That would have been a good hard one. Yeah. Apparently you got the hard one really quick. so it's the Nautilus.
The Nautilus.
The Nautilus.
Ah,
Well, this is what happens when I've been married to you for 10 years. Not married, been with you.
Okay, and then the third tiebreaker.
Why are
because
there three
there were three
tiebreakers?
because I didn't trust you guys to get any of them.
Oh
So
my
I got a
goodness.
little over cautious and concerned.
so much faith.
Third one was Captain Phillips.
Oh, Essex.
No.
No? Wait, is that the one with Tom Hanks where he like gets taken over by pirates?
Yeah.
Is that the Essex? Crap, I got the I did Google that one.
I have no idea.
So I can't say the first part. It's like Marsk, Alabama.
Oh, I got it mixed up then.
I was hoping you were gonna ask like what was the vessel name in the Matrix?
The Matrix.
Yeah,
I've only seen the first one, so is it in the first one? I don't even remember it.
yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Oh.
The Nebuchadnezzar.
I was expecting you guys to expect something like this vessel hit an iceberg and split in half and fell into the ocean.
Well, what's the score now? What's the score? Say
Okay.
it.
So now the score. Oh, we never even said the initial score. So you were you were ahead by one.
Yes.
So it's the first person to get to 5 wins the challenge.
Yes.
So
Be
you
prepared.
have 1 point,
Mm-hmm.
and
Now I have two.
now
I have 2 now.
Aaron has
2-0.
a point.
No, it's 2-0.
It's 1-1.
No, how is it 1-1? I won.
Because you got more questions right.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
got more?
So it's like golf. The person with the lower score gets the
Oh
point.
my
okay, I'm sorry.
God.
I'll
Can we-
stop messing around.
yeah, can we
I'm sorry.
clarify
You're
this? I
confusing
have
the
2
audience.
points. I have
Yes,
2 points.
you have 2 points.
2-0.
Yeah, 2-0.
I already know
So-
what chocolate I want.
Uh-oh. You better be ready to pay out the big bucks, Aaron.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Movies and Mayhem. And if you liked us, make sure to subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on to never miss an episode. And if you really liked us, make sure to rate us and leave a review. Now cut, print, check the gate.